Good morning, treasure finders. I am in the Florida Keys this morning. Right out there is the Atlantic Ocean, and this is the only place that I've seen in the Keys, and we've been all the way down to Key West and all the way up to Key Largo, where you can just walk over to the ocean access and there isn't a huge break wall that is going to stop you. The problem with the Keys is there really aren't any seashells here. So for a seashell hunter, this place has been a little bit difficult, but I am like a dog with a bone when I get to places that are near the ocean. I have to try to find somewhere to go. So I've been driving by this. This is right north of our campground. We're staying just south of Islamorada, so we're almost to Islamorada here. In this access area, I don't even know, we haven't seen anybody fishing out here. We haven't seen anybody doing anything. There's definitely nobody doing any shelling. But I wanted to check it out the other day, so I had my husband pull over when we were headed back home. I said, I just want to go and see if there's anything over there, any seashells or anything. And surprisingly, there were some seashells, and there's tons of coral. And there were some jellyfish floating around out there. So I decided to come here in the morning at low tide. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to show you what it's like to actually find seashells in the Keys. Stay to the end, and I have some exciting news about a location change, and it'll give me tons of content for this channel. So stay to the end, and I'll tell you about that. But for right now, I'm going to grab my shell bag. I'm going to grab my camera. I'm going to grab my boots, and we're going to head over there, and I'll show you what we've got over there. I did find out, I did a little research before I went out, and I found out that taking any coral from the beaches is against the law. So any coral, I'm just photographing and admiring, and I was going to try to keep a little jar of the coral, but it's not legal to take the coral. So the coral is not coming with me. need to look in these racks here because there's shells caught up, bigger shells caught up in these racks. Like there's a turkey wing here. Here at high tide, all of this is underwater, so I'm really glad I came at low tide. There's some really cool, there's some really neat, I'm sure this is very, very old stuff. Look at all these embedded shells. All those buzzards, you guys. I'm gonna link a video to what happened to me in Texas with buzzards. Not a fan. It was really fun to see all the different varieties of shells. I'm going to do a little bit of research, and then I'm going to show you my finds when I get back to the campground, because this road out here is too noisy and I want to be able to do a little research before I show you what shells I got. Here is the shelling haul from the Florida Keys. I sort of organize these in categories. I have to say I've been off my shelling game for a while, so I did have to do a little bit of research on these shells, and I'm a little bit disappointed because there's some of them that I just could not figure out what they were. So I'm hoping that somebody watching this might be able to help me figure out what some of these shells are. These are always fun to find. This is not a shell, obviously. It's a little hamburger sea bean. This shell up here, there's 3 of them, and that's called a Pennsylvania lucine. Right here this is a turkey wing. Find a lot of these near Sanibel. This is a kitten's paw. Find a lot of those in Sanibel. This cool shell here is a digitate thorny oyster, and I don't know if I've ever found one of these. But the way you can really tell what these are is this really solid coral colored circle around on the bottom. But these are kind of really a cool shell, and it has like some worm snails attached to it. So I don't know if I've ever found one of those before. This shell right here is called a eastern or a frond oyster. I'm not sure which one it is. It has these really exaggerated edges on it. So that's why I picked it up. I thought it was pretty neat. So right here, this one, I found a lot of these in the Clearwater area 2 years ago. That's a long spine star snail or an Atlantic sundial. This is the star snail for sure. These right here could be juveniles of that shell, or they could be an Atlantic sundial. I'm not sure when they're juveniles. It is hard to kind of tell what these are, and obviously most of these are juveniles, like these over here. So it is a little bit harder to tell what they are, but I'm going to do my best here. So right here, this is a worm snail. Those are always fun to find, called wormies. Usually find quite a few of those on the Gulf Coast. These are typical rough scallops, but I thought they were really sweet. Right here in the middle are a couple of moon snails. It's really hard to tell the variety because they're so bleached. They're definitely not a shark's eye, but they could be a Gaudy nautica, There's another type of moon snail down here as well, but I'm not sure. So this little shell here, this is one of the ones I might need help with. You can see how it's kind of rolled, and the only thing I can come up with on a bigger scale is called a ton, T-U-N. So if you recognize that, let me know. It could be a land snail as well. I don't know. And then also in the middle here is a couple of tricky ones. So this one I think is really cool. It's really beautiful, but I have no idea. I could not find any information or anything looking like that shell right there. So if anybody knows what that is, I would love to know. These three right here are so small, it's also hard to tell. This could be a rock snail, just not sure. Those could be juvenile fighting conchs, but this right here is an operculum for I'm not sure what. It's a pretty small operculum. If you want to know more about operculums, I did a video on those because we found a ton of those in Clearwater. So I'll link that here, but basically it's the little trap door. So if you were to turn this guy over, obviously it's not the operculum for this shell, but the trap door would live right inside here. It keeps the live animal safe inside of the shell. So this one is probably from some kind of a top shell or a turban or something like that. Moving down on the plate, this right here is also one I'm not usually used to finding. I'll flip it over and it's kind of stuffed full of other shells. Might have to zoom in on that one for you. Can you see it? It's, I think, either a common Atlantic marginella or an Atlantic deer cowrie, but I'm not sure. So if anybody knows, this is a little bubble shell. So there's an assortment right here of, and there's kind of bleached out, so I can't tell exactly the types, but there are some kind of auger or seraph. I'm not exactly sure what varieties I have there. Over here are a bunch of Florida cones or dusky cones. I love finding cones. I just think they're really special. This is obviously closer to natural size of these. This whole haul here, these are all juveniles, so it's a little bit hard to tell, but they look more like Florida cones and not so much like an alphabet cone. Here is my other mystery shell here. There's two of them. This one obviously is bigger, and I can't find any information on this shell. You can kind of see how the bottom is. Obviously there's a little bit of a hole in the bottom, which shouldn't be there, but if anybody knows, it looks like it would be related to some sort of a top shell, but I can't find this particular shell anywhere. And then here's just a little smaller version of that same shell. And I think the last thing to show you right here is a crosshatched lucine. And these, I don't know if you can tell, I don't know if I can zoom in on it or if I can get it out. Can't get it. I don't know if you can tell. I feel like it's not going to come in closely. I might be able to zoom in. There's little cross hatchings on this shell, and that's how you know what that is. And this is a little baby one of those. So all in all, this was really fun shelling in the Keys. Just to be able to find some shells in the Keys was an accomplishment, I feel like. Okay, so drum roll please. I am headed after the Keys. I'm in the Keys for one more week, and nothing against the Keys. We have had the best time here. It's absolutely beautiful. We've had so much fun. We've been snorkeling, we've been kayaking, but the thing about the Keys is there's not as much treasure hunting. I'm headed in a week to Fort Myers, which you know is right by Sanibel, and I will probably be out on Sanibel or Fort Myers Beach every day shelling. So I'm going to have a ton of things to show you, and then after that we're going to be in Clearwater, and there's also a place that I love to go shelling up there. So stay tuned, don't give up on me. I do have some seashells coming. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I appreciate each and every one who does. And if you want notifications on when I put up new videos, ring the little bell, and I will see you on the beach somewhere.